Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Tenuous at Best, episode 10, with myself, Vando K, that guy over there, Zane, and that guy up there, the D. Guys, how are we?
Quite D-ish.
D-ish? Nice. Zane?
Yeah, everybody likes a bit of the D. I am doing not too bad. I am doing quite meh, I'm okay. I'm apparently quite changeable.
How so?
Well, I've just went from not too bad to okay to doing alright within about the space of 3 seconds, so I'm guessing my mood is changeable. Have you got a problem with that?
It's the fact you're kind of describing yourself like a vacuum mover attachment. It's a bit weird, mate.
That's what kind of had me vexed as well, to be honest. So welcome to the show. We have some chat around some usual games, tech stuff, movies, TV shows, a lot of TV shows, and we have not much else to introduce with, so let's get right on it. First piece of news for the week, let's start with games and tech. We've got the DualShock USB wireless adapter comes to PC, which allows you to connect your PS4 controller to your PC, which seemed like an odd move until today. Zane, care to elaborate?
Well, it's not that odd a move. Like Xbox have had one for, well, they had one originally for the Xbox 360, which pretty much didn't sell and no one used because they all had wired controllers that they used for it instead. But
So there's no idea is this to play your PC games with your DualShock then?
yeah, I mean the Xbox One
Yeah, okay,
controllers.
I never thought that.
Xbox One controller's been there the whole time, doing the same thing. But
Yeah.
I mean the other announcement that came with that, kind of out of the blue, was the fact that PlayStation Now, that lovely system that no one wanted and even fewer people use, is now available on PC as well. What is PlayStation Now? You had since no one wanted it and
Thank you for saving my breath.
Yes. So, PlayStation's answer to Xbox backward compatibility was to, let's just stream the whole thing. Let's just emulate the PlayStation 3 on a bunch of servers, and you can pay £12 a month to stream old PlayStation 3 games directly to your PlayStation. And so many folk have used it that they've went, fuck, this is really not working out. Let's put it on PC as well, where no one can use it there as well. And try and actually make some money out of this thing.
So is this going to let them play PS4 games across to the PC as well?
No, it is just PS3. It is basically, like I say, it's their idea of backwards compatibility. They decided they would just kind of emulate the whole thing and make it kind of live streaming, which, if any of you remember, what the hell was it called? On Live?
Yes, I remember On Live. It was a great idea, but it just didn't work.
No, that's the thing. It was
Are you drinking it out of a jar?
Yeah.
Of course you are. Okay.
It's a mason jar. Definitely normal. It has a handle.
Ah, right, okay.
I'm drinking it out of a jar and one of my socks is a glove.
Times were really bad.
So, aye. Anyway. They bring out this thing which does, well, pretty much that. It's about a catalogue of 200 PlayStation 3 games that run remarkably okay. They give away a 7-day trial, and that thing has been sitting on my PlayStation box screen for God knows how long, saying try the trial, and I just completely ignored it. But when it appeared on PC, I thought, well, I may as well give it a try, just if nothing else, just to talk about it on this thing. And it works remarkably okay.
Really?
The games look maybe a wee bit grainy, but nothing too distracting. And the input is remarkably okay. I thought I'll try Batman Arkham Asylum, because you've got you need quick responses for the dodges and stuff, and it's playable, works fine. It just looks a bit and there's a wee tiny bit of input lag, so it's a bit And if it was £2 a month, then absolutely I would go for it. £12 a month for that, you can bite me.
Yeah, it seems quite a lot, given that, albeit you still have to kind of own the games, I suppose, with the Xbox stuff, but the kind of £12 a month seems quite high.
Is that access to everything?
Given that you can kind of, what you can spend £12 a month on these days?
Yeah.
Is that access to everything though? Like, is that access to the whole catalogue?
Yeah, but the whole catalog's like about 200 games, which is the other thing with it. Is like I presume it's I presume it's to conserve server space. It's not like an ever-growing list. They cycle games in and out of it, as far as I'm aware. And it'd be one of these ones. Maybe if everybody jumped on boards, maybe if it had taken off, then they could afford more. They could afford to put more into it and get more servers and expand the list of games. And you go, that's fair enough, but no one's interested in it because it's a shitty, stupid system. Like the internet's not fast enough for most people. It says you need a minimum of 5 meg download, 12 meg for really good performance. But I'm like, nah, you kind of need that and more than you need it consistent.
Well, I'd be interested to see how marketing handles contention ratios. Oh, your contention. Oh no, we can't go into that. So it's completely unworkable. It's funny because I don't think I care too much about back compat, but I've gone back and played a lot more games than I thought I would. To be honest with you, I've Blood Dragon is my next agenda actually. Obviously we were playing a bit of Portal the other day. I really like that on the Xbox, but I think genuinely, even though I wouldn't call myself a hardcore gamer by any stretch of the imagination, I don't think I would see myself going, I'm going to go and play that on the internet. That just seems like a headache to me. It's just the fact that, you could be playing a game reasonably well, and then all it takes is the message to launch a YouTube clip, and my game goes to hell.
Yeah.
That's way too dodgy. That gives me the same fear as things that run on batteries.
YouTube clip, huh?
What are you insinuating? Yeah, you're right. It's usually big fat gypsy weddings or something, so I can't really talk about it.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea necessarily. It's more. It really is a price point for me that's like an issue of if it was £2 a month, I pay it and not even think about it. People would pay it and not even people would pay and forget to unsubscribe for that matter. If it was £4 a month, £5 a month, then I might go, do you know what? I never did play God of War. And it's on there. So I might go back and take a look at it and just pay a £5 for that 1 month and just kind of dip in and dip out.
With being a stranger to kind of the PlayStation and stuff, and I remember that the kind of online service used to be free, but did that change? So have they got the equivalent of Xbox kind of live paid subscription now?
Yes, that changed with the advent of the PS4. So PS3, it was free, and you got what you paid for. It was a pile of shite.
And how much is that?
I don't remember offhand.
There's a story that goes with this actually, because it's gone up to, I think it's where it's going from just now. I think it's going up to £10, is it?
Oh, they're increasing here as well. I noticed that they announced they were increasing it in the States and Canada. I didn't know we had a similar announcement.
The PlayStation 4 Reddit subreddit saying it. We're talking about it today, so I'm not sure. I'll just double check. Blah 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 blah. It's quite good actually. PlayStation Plus News put it out saying price increase and new free game. You're going very good.
Aye, cheers.
Well, that would be kind of doing a kind of bundle thing would be a much better way of doing it. So, say for example, you had like whatever it is, a kind of £10 monthly subscription or whatever. But then if you paid like a kind of deluxe version, you get access to all the back catalogue, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, adding a few extra pound onto what you're paying already would be fine. But I think doing it as a standalone thing, and in theory, making it so that you can use it in the PC as well is a good idea. But I just don't see it. I think putting on the PC is the last desperate bid to try and actually make some money out of it before they go, this isn't working, and canning it.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's got to save it. And I don't think it should anyway. I think they should have got to do backwards compatibility, just do it right.
Yeah, that's true.
And unfortunately, in this day and age, I'm not sure I agree if this is a good thing or not either, but in this day and age, anything that folk really want to play again seems to be getting an HD remaster anyway. So
yeah, that's pretty true, yeah.
So does any of it actually matter?
No, well, that's very true. I mean, that actually tidily and non-tenuously takes us on to Mass Effect.
I thought it was going to take us on to your arm hair.
You got a problem with arm hair now? Arm hair? My junk? What's wrong with you? Did I fuck your cat or something?
You look like you've got an Austin Powers chest wig going on there that's stretching outside your arms.
This shit's legit. Fucking hell, getting slated all over the internet tonight. So taking this comfortably on. Any more of that shit, I'm going to undo that filter, right?
Look at my chest hair. Can you see my chest hair? Admire the chest hair.
Any more of that shit, mate, I'm going to come over your house and take that sieve off your webcam. So yes, anyway, moving forward, Mass Effect remasters. D, you're a big old Mass Effect fan, but you said previously you probably wouldn't play them. Would you give them a go just because they're remastered?
I will never play the first Mass Effect again in my life, ever.
Assuming, are the problems with it something they could pick up in a remaster, like tweaking it and making it less clunky, do you think?
Nah, they would
Is
have
it just
to
fundamentally wrong?
They would have to redo the whole mechanics for part of a game. So the main part of it is...
Oh, look at your shirt. You've got a shirt on. Oh, look at your shirt.
What?
Just what you did with me and my arm here.
Okay. Meanwhile, back on planet Earth, so no, it was a fundamental part. I think I've kind of discussed it before in the show where and they kind of took the kind of feedback from the first one and evolved it for the next ones, which was the part about mining planets for, I think it was fuel and some other resources, was so labor intensive in the first one. And they basically cut all the shite out in the subsequent ones, so they would have to rework all that substantially in the first one for me to play it again. Otherwise, I absolutely would, because I adored the whole kind of character build and getting to grips with the kind of the environment and the kind of habitats and stuff. So that's pretty much the only reason why I wouldn't do it.
Well, I played a wee bit of it, and I remember thinking I played about half an hour of it, and I told you where I got to. You went, no, that's a couple of hours to play at least. I touched an artifact or something. Don't tell MD. I went on artifact register now. But so it was just very much one of these kind of. I didn't really buy it. I think I didn't know what it was about it. It wasn't up my street, but you know, a game will grab you and it won't. It was one of those. Zane, do you care about remasters of Mass Effect?
No, well, this is the reason I brought it up, and I do have to say it's actually a bit of a clickbaity title in the notes, because there is nothing out there to suggest there's going to be a remaster of Mass Effect just yet. However, so 2 years ago, EA at E3 were talking about remasters and basically panning them and saying how EA is looking to the future, or we are a company that just likes to push forward, as they put it, and had no interest in making remasters whatsoever.
Then take out people's ideas.
Yeah, cut to this year, just over a year after that, they are now saying, we maybe think about remasters, and it's essentially saying that there is proof out there now. It's become evident now that this is what people want. So it's your fault. All these folk buying all these old games as remasters, they're basically what it's going to do is make more remasters. And I think Mass Effect's the one you jump on, is probably the one that for EA would be the most successful, worthy to do it. So that becomes the question: is would you actually buy a Mass Effect remaster? I don't know what else they've got, because what you got to do, remaster FIFA 2014, like.
Surely that's what they've done already.
Exactly. They do that every year anyway, so what's the fucking difference?
Every fucking year.
But yeah, this, for me, it is cause and effect, and it is showing exactly what your purchasing dollars do.
Cause and Mass Effect?
Nice one. That was a weird outburst. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think, what remasters have I bought anything remastered? I'm trying to think. Gears, I guess?
I mean, I do have to say I'm going to totally turn around and shit on everything I'm saying, by going out and buying the Skyrim remaster when it comes out. So, you know, it's...
Yeah, I will buy that. I'll buy that for the missus, and she's like, save her back your Xbox One. So when I buy her that, I'm going to buy her on Xbox as well, and just be done with it.
But yeah, it is a thing of... The next time someone's complaining about how we're not getting any new games, let's just keep rebuying the old ones. Simple as that. Right.
This takes us on a wee bit to a point Dee and I were talking about earlier today. It was about Dee was saying, why is there no why is there no kind of modern, like current kind of warfare kind of games?
Well, yeah, I mean, I went on a kind of mini game buying frenzy the other week, and I bought 3 games, and then you kind of bought me Red Dead as well, so I've still got a queue.
That's never going to get played though, because you've got Prison Architect.
Yeah, well, we'll get onto that at some point later anyway. But what led me to that was it was the fact that I was kind of sitting bored one night and I thought, I really want a new game to play.
Yeah.
And what I was thinking was how much I enjoyed the older kind of Call of Duties and the likes of, I'm trying to think what else now. What kind
Did
of
you like Battlefield?
Ghost Recon? Battlefield was all right. The Ghost Recons, obviously, we've discussed that in the show before. So that kind of
Medal of Honor.
Current day or modern kind of warfare, and all the kind of, certainly the Call of Duty elements are all now future warfares and have been for the past couple of releases. Battlefield's going back, isn't it? The new Battlefield one is kind of historic. And I don't know, I'm crying out for kind of modern day military stuff. And I think you were making the point that hasn't it been done to death. And I mean, you could kind of argue that in a few game genres, I suppose. And you're not wrong, because you did have the same thing with Call of Duty, and that's what's led them to do the future warfare elements of it. But I still think there's the scope for it. And although you've got that Wildlands kind of game coming out, which I'm really looking forward to, I'm just thinking there's still so much more that can be done with that. And I just want a bloody good shooter, because one of the elements of playing that type of game is the aspect of the majority of us, kind of the three of us included in this room, kind of won't ever join the armed forces, but there's presumably some edge of, I don't know if thrill's the right word, but it's that kind of edginess, the life and death, and walking about with a gun.
It's that, and it's the kind of the brotherhood of being in the middle of the shit together, and the kind of
exactly.
I think also the strategizing things are the thing I like a lot as well. Yeah. And I think it's a good point you make, because in actual fact, probably my favourite experience in recent years of out with maybe what do you call it, the Division, which I think is kind of roundabout there, but I guess it's more urban than anything else.
That's supposed to be.
You talking like kind of getting people? You talking about people dropping people into like Syria and kind of Afghanistan and this kind of idea?
Yeah, see, that's.
Unless I've missed something, I mean, I think the scope for that kind of genre, that guerrilla urban kind of stuff that goes back flipping, think of like Black Hawk Down and all that type of kind of movies, that kind of setting where you're going kind of room to room and clearing out elements of a city, and I just think that would have so much scope and so much fun attached to it.
There's a lot of that. I said Arma 3 was probably more in that direction.
So I've not had a look at what Arma. So is that a new game that's coming out?
No, it's a PC
Arma
series,
3.
and I don't think they've never released it to console. I think mostly just because of the sheer powerhouse you need to run the bastard and thing.
Arma 3 is a trainer. it's a shoe.
It's ARMA. Arma.
That'll be why.
But Zane, do you know why those didn't come to console? Is it just a choice by the developer?
I think pretty much, yeah. I mean, it is quite graphically intensive, but it's probably the most realistic shooter out there as well. And funnily enough, I think it is actually used as a trainer, like
for the military?
For the military as well. Or I think 2 was. I don't know if 3 is. And I could be making that up as well. But hey,
so to answer your question, D, what you could actually do is play that game, but you have to spend 40 quid in the game and another 600 in a graphics card.
I mean, that looks, it's not the kind of urban warfare type of thing I'm looking for from the pictures I've got, but it's Call of Duty in a real environment type of thing. Or not Call of Duty, we're using that as a flipping term now, like flipping Hoover. But
yeah.
But yeah, it's that kind of thing. I think there's much scope for that.
Yeah.
I think the problem with doing it as a modern shooter these days is anything you do at all that's kind of modern and even kind of halfway political or seen as somewhat political just gets absolutely jumped up and down on, and they're scared to go near it.
Yeah. If you've watched this wee clip I'm playing back over here, I don't know if it's actually playing for you.
No, kinda.
That's realistic. What game's that?
No, watch this, right? This is brilliant. This is an ITV documentary that they played where they used footage. It was meant to be of the IRA or something like that, and it turned out they'd actually just played footage from the Arma 2.
Nice.
And you see, like North Korea doing that kind of thing, you think they're crazy, but these guys did it, and they're going, "Oh, look at this, is real," and you're going, "No, that's just from the game Arma 2. What are you doing?"
You know, that's from a game.
I mean, that's obviously video game footage, and these guys, I mean, maybe not so much in this stream, but if you check this out, just search for Arma TV report, and you'll see this getting used. It's hilarious. You're sitting there going, "What are you guys smoking?" So yeah, that's just one of these kind of stupid things that people use the footage. But no, I think that's exactly the thing, is that if you're anyone that's doing those games, because I think it was Operation Flashpoint as well, Dragon Rising, I think that was called.
Yeah.
That was PC. I think. I don't know if that came out. I think it came out at 360 as well. Did it not?
Yeah. I mean, was there not one of the Call of Duty games where you had to shoot up an airport?
Yes.
Yeah, that was.
And that caused...
and I don't know if I sound wet or pathetic over that, but I didn't fire a shot because it just didn't feel right at all.
Yeah. But I mean, that caused all sorts of outrage. I can't say rightfully or wrongfully personally, because I didn't play it myself, so I couldn't tell you. But I think that's the thing, is as soon as you put it in any sort of real day and real world setting, you're just going to court controversy, which is why they have moved away from it. I don't think they moved away from it because it was getting stale. I think they moved away from it because it was just getting more and more difficult to do in the internet age, where you do the slightest wee thing that upsets someone and it upsets thousands of someone's, and Twitter and everything else has just made it so that outrage is vocal and is overblown. Whether it's right or wrong, it's overblown. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's like, I think they just kind of had to move away from it just purely for that. It's no, I think it's going to be a long time before you see it coming back. I think that's why you get things like The Division, which uses closer to kind of real modern day weaponry and stuff, but still needs to be set in an alternate universe.
In a fantastic situation.
And, with kind of slightly futuristic.
I don't think they're trying to avoid anything. I just think it's the trend.
No. Well,
for Call of Duty's very kind of reason that they did the airport thing, it was just kind of like two fingers up, and they went, "Screw you, that's what we're doing."
Yeah.
Yeah, and look how it played out for them, and now they need to go to space to make their games.
Yeah.
Oh no, they lost an absolute million. They're kind of bankrupt. They're not making any games anymore. That worked for them.
To a point, I think what happened was, especially when it came up with like your Titanfalls, if you've got Titanfall and Call of Duty are very close together in their style, but the minute Titanfall took the game vertical, Call of Duty had no way of doing that without making it futuristic, because taking current soldiers and giving them freaking jetpacks would have been really weird. Unless you made it parkour Call of Duty, it was going to be a bit strange. So I think as soon as you change and give verticality to that map, because that's the same reason Halo is really popular, because of that verticality. As soon as you put that in, remember, most of these games are built on the back of what the multiplayer does, really. Because I mean, that's where the longevity of play comes from. I think that's, for me, that's why they do it. I don't particularly like that about it, because I enjoyed Call of Duty because I enjoyed the campaigns. I don't really care about freaking multiplayer because I'm shit and I get murdered en masse. But what do you think?
I don't know, because I'm just thinking, I mean, the fact that the Wildlands is coming out, which is kind of 80% what I'm talking about, kind of shows that there is some sort of kind of direction for that, but it's just gone quiet for the kind of past, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years in terms of the direction of where the shooters have gone. Yeah. And I just think it has, because they've gone for a genre change. Whoever kind of led the charge in terms of whether it was Titanfall or kind of the kind of newer Call of Duties, don't know, but I think it's just going through a trend cycle, but it's leaving a kind of gap, because I've got an absolute hunger for a kind of realistic army shooter these days.
Well, I think that's funny, because I mean, as you say, Ghost Recon Wildlands looks incredible, but it is, again, quite an abstract setup. It's going after the drug cartels. Nobody's ever going to get upset because you shoot a guy from a cartel, and that's that abstraction they need to keep. Whereas obviously the airport thing's not in that respect, but it's not a full-on military shooter because, well, it's not. You're not out there in a team. Like me and you used to play Summit Strike, Ghost Recon 2.
Yeah,
that was immense fun. Lots of fun. Hard as nails as well. But yeah, do you remember that? I think it was actually a whole night we spent in that bloody financial district.
Yes.
And it took us about 45 minutes just to get to the first helicopter, and we thought, we've done it. And then we went, no, we haven't. Then get chased with helicopters for 4 hours. That was good times. But I think, is that what you're after, that kind of feel again?
I suppose it is. I mean, the fact that we've had kind of buddy moments off it as well as an addition, but I have a hankering for that kind of proper kind of shooter where it's not. Call of Duty is far more It's not that it was never. It was always arcade, but it's got even more arcadey, and the kind of the future stuff just pushes it even further beyond that, because to me there's now no element of realism. And if you even look at the kind of characters that you're playing in the latest Call of Duty, they're not actual kind of visually soldiers. They're kind of these, I don't know, I don't even know how to describe them now because I got kind of fed up with Call of Duty. But yeah, it's just I want to have a gun and I want to shoot someone. Yeah.
Zane, do you have any feelings about it?
Like I said, I mean, I think it's going to be a long time before you see them again, and it's yes, it is a trend, but I think the trend has come from, like I say, just the fact that you can't do it at the moment without having some sort of wing getting on your back, with it causing some sort of outrage over the whole thing.
Well, the world's really in a very kind of politically unstable, turmoilous situation. So you no matter who.
Tell me when it wasn't.
Well, that's fair, but I mean, what game was it? Ghost Recon, the original Ghost Recon that we played. That you were up against the DPRK.
Yes, I think it was.
So North Korea is always going to be fair dibs kind of thing in that situation. You can always go, the North Koreans are going to do damage. We can use them as the kind of bad guys. I think those were also the bad guys in.
You don't have to have a geographically named enemy at all.
So you're not looking for real world then?
No,
you just
don't.
want.
No, that's just a label. Putting a country or a people or an army or a regime against it, it's just a label. You could call it the kind of marching jam jars for all anybody cares.
I thought you wanted like actual real world kind of thing. I thought that's what you were after. Sorry. Okay.
No, because of that particular reason, where it's just like, I don't know, the Americans versus the Soviets, or whatever would be the latest trend, which would be kind of America versus flipping ISIS or something. Then I can. It would be a reflection of modern times, but I can see how that somebody would say, oh, that's provocative and all that kind of carry on. So just remove the kind of geographical elements and have one side versus another.
Yeah. I think that sounds like a good shout. Be interested to see
the hairy-chested warriors versus the jam jar marching fraternity.
I'm bringing my armpits to the party. I think you're right. I'd be interested to see what happens next, because once you've gone, I mean, they're going to space in the next round. Infinite Warfare, is it?
Yeah.
So we're going to space for that. Battlefield's going all the way back to kind of World War One. So it'd be interested to see where they go with this next, because, well, everybody loves a first-person shooter, but I'm just interested to see what they actually try and do next.
And how do you name it? Infinite Warfare 2? Even more, even more infinite.
Infinite plus one. It's weird. On that note, actually, Call of Duty 2 is coming out for has just come out for backwards compatibility on the Xbox One as well. So if you want to go back to Call of Duty 2, you can buy that off the store and stick it in your Xbox. That might give you. Was Call of Duty 2?
Call of Duty 2 was World War 2.
I think it's Call of Duty 3 was the first one I started getting engaged with, which was the first Modern Warfare one.
Call of Duty 2 was quite possibly the apex for single-player Call of Duty.
All right, okay.
Where there was more time spent on the single-player than there was on the multiplayer. The multiplayer hadn't took off, probably because of the machines just weren't really...
Yeah.
It wasn't really a thing. And the internet wasn't really a thing, as much of a thing, certainly as far as consoles are concerned. So if you want a really good single player shooter, Call of Duty 2 is absolutely awesome and worth picking up on compatibility.
I like Call of Duty 3 as well. Call of Duty 3 was my first introduction to it, and that was World War 2. I liked it.
It was the fourth one that was Modern Warfare then.
Yeah, it was. Because I played I think it was a demo or something I got of Call of Duty 3, and I remember playing it and thinking, it was the first time I played a game, and this frame rate's really high. I was like kind of freaked out by how high the frame rate was, and Kiefer Sutherland was shouting at me, and I was like, "This is amazing!" And I really enjoyed Call of Duty 3. It was really good fun. But 4, I mean, I liked those games that I did. I don't have a beef with them, but I'd go back and play them through just if I had a spare 6 hours, because that's all the campaigns were as well. You know, but that's about the height of it for me. But that's coming out on back compat, as I say anyway. Did anybody try out the Titanfall 2 tech test that's been released this week?
I did not, because it has Titanfall in the title.
I played it, and a lot of people are shooting it down. I guess the hardcore Titanfall guys don't like the changes, as you might expect.
Shooting it down.
I think this is similar to what you were saying, Zane, about World of Warcraft. People freak out for the first week or two, and then realise that it brings balance. So, no, I played it through. I played maybe 4 or 5 matches with it, and it's a game that I really like because it lets me go and like shoot people even though I'm crap, because it gives you the wee AI characters running about with the squads. So I can just shoot them, so that's fun. But yeah, just really slick. It doesn't feel too distracted from the last Titanfall, because it's the same generation engine. But it looks like a lot of fun, and I don't think I'd be buying it full price. I'd definitely get it on a sale, but that's the way I tend to treat first-person shooters overall, anyway. So
they're actually keeping the NPCs. Is that still a thing?
yeah, still running about.
Cool.
The biggest beef everybody's got at the moment is when you point your reticule at an enemy, be it an AI one or another player, their whole outline lights up. So it's not a matter of skill; it's a matter of there's a big red outline, shoot that thing, which is great for people like me. But I reckon they probably take that out in pro mode or whatever else they add in. But it's quite good because as you play it, they're actually kind of constantly updating you with kind of what they're changing, what they're tweaking, and all that stuff. So. Yeah, looks pretty good. I'm quite kind of looking forward to it. Mostly because I'll be interested to see what they do with the universe now. This one's going to have a big campaign attached. A big campaign with big robots can't go too far wrong, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I'll probably
That's
pick
it.
I might pick it up somewhere down the line once it's really cheap. Like I say, it comes out at the exact same time as Battlefield. I don't like a week after. It's like,
Yeah.
I know I keep saying that, but I'm just like, what the hell are you doing, guys?
I'm
Killing
quite
your
fancy
own game.
Battlefield 1. D, are we going to see you in Battlefield 1 even though it's World War 1?
I kind of like the look of this, I'm pretty sure, if I remember. So there is certainly a potential for it.
Airplanes, blimps, and all that good jazz.
Yeah.
Horses.
Yeah, it's quite possible. I'll get it. I'll see what else is coming out at the same time.
Cool. When is that Battlefield 1, Zane? Do you know?
Oh, I do not remember. It's November something.
Let's find out.
A week
Battlefield 1.
A week before Titanfall and 2 weeks before Infinite Warfare.
October 21st. Yeah. Sweet. Yeah, I do quite fancy that. I think just because I quite like, I was crap at Battlefield 4, but I really like the scale of it, and I think you hit the nail on the head when I was playing it, Zane, is the fact that you play in such a large squad that even if you're crap, you're not fundamentally responsible for the whole team. You're not fundamentally responsible for winning or losing. You're part of a bigger squad. So I like that element because I can go and I can kill some people, but I'm never the guy that's going to be kind of MVP, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing. I always found I was never particularly great. I'll never be top of the kill death ratios or anything like that. But with a game of that size and that scope, you can kind of take a step back and see where people aren't going and kind of sneak in the back. Kind of sneak around the sides and quickly take a base that no one's guarding, and you can still contribute something, even if it's not killing 30 odd folk.
Yeah, it's not pivotal to the game.
You can still find a way to make yourself useful in a game of that scope, that size.
Yeah, it looks pretty good fun. I'm quite looking forward to that. Do you be careful with that EAO chases down the street?
Yeah.
We'll get DMCA'd on this one.
Yep.
Stop that.
Yeah, probably best to stop. EA are violent with that kind of thing. So
probably sick of me calling them arseholes. It's probably just direct retribution, but it's not my fault they're arseholes.
Zane, do you want to make a statement just in case they do try DMCAs? You can just tell them what.
They can go and fuck themselves.
There we go. That's great. I always look for him to say don't be a dick, but he always varies it, and it's always beautiful. Nice one. Zane and I were talking about this when we were just setting up earlier, the fact that it sucks the amount of cool things you could do with a podcast like this, like popping in kind of a proper review with the game running, or we could pop some music in the background or anything you want. You just can't do
this all the time and you've not said anything before.
It wasn't EA. EA or Disney will nail you across, basically. Or Nintendo will actually just come to your house and steal your shoes.
I'd like to see Nintendo come to my house.
Game footage is fine. They tend to be dicks with their trailers.
How's that? How to do it?
It's all about weird.
I was going to say that looks awesome. I think I'll definitely go and buy that, and I think everyone else should. But if that's the case, then fuck them. I'm not buying it, and nobody else should. Looks shite. Look at that frame rate. Pish.
Nice.
Jerky.
Bullshit.
Nobody wants jerky.
Beef jerky. Don't do it. Old. So I think that's kind of what I'm looking forward to in terms of kind of first person shooters. But careful! Just put a big EA logo up. It's not that. It's Zane's channel. We don't actually need to give a shit.
That's right. It just causes more editing for me.
Oh. Okay, on to other stuff that isn't quite as depressing as first-person shooters and the current state of them. some more PS4 news, I guess I should jump on. I should have actually tidied this up earlier on, but we are tenuous at best. Inside is just coming out for the PS4. The game that I ranted about and went, I'm very happy with this. This game should be bought by everyone. It's coming out to PS4. I don't know what date it actually is due right enough, but that's something everybody needs to buy. Did any of you play it yet?
Yeah, it should be bought by everyone, but I've still not actually bought it.
For goodness sakes. Oh no, apparently you can now play it. Apparently it's already available, so that's nice.
Pew, pew, rat-a-tat-tat.
Just making your own trailer now.
I did the horse sound. It was actually quite good. Sure.
Hey, it's in the game. It's a load of shite.
I think that's what we should do. We should make a bunch of parody trailers for things. We have the tools. We have the tools. We'll give it a go. Yeah, so Inside's just come out for PS4. I recommend everybody buys that. What else have we got? I heard that Alison Road's been revived and back in production. Do you remember this?
Yeah, again.
Is this the scary, housey, horror thriller type thing?
This is the one that was set in a normal house as opposed to PT, which was the one that was kind of curved. You go around the same corridor all the time with the bathroom.
And the wee trailery thing, you were in a kitchen and then there was the kind of glass doors out to the back garden? Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, so that's been revived. I'm assuming that's going to be PS4 only as well. I'm not quite sure. You're getting called all sorts there, Dave.
Woo!
But yeah, so I think that if they bring these games back, because I think PT was one of those things that looked like it was going to be exceptional. Nobody really knew for sure. And yeah, just the idea of kind of bringing these games, because I thought this was going to happen because of like Alien Resurrection, Alien Isolation and stuff. I thought that's going to be kind of the honeymoon period for these kind of games. So when that got banned, it's a bit of a shame. Not that I'll play it because I'm a massive shitbag, but you know, I'd like to see that. I'd like to actually watch you play it and watch you freak out, Zane, to be honest.
Yeah, I doubt you'll see me play it.
Okay, well, what we'll do is we'll all get together and watch somebody else playing it.
I might actually play it. I'm quite glad this thing is actually getting made. If it is getting made, it's had such a tumultuous life. But the fact that it was Kickstarters, like the fact that other poor sods out there actually put their money towards this, and then who was it Team 17 that they ended up partnering up with that was going to distribute it, and then they decided no.
Team 17, but the crazy old guys from like Amiga Lemmings and all that days.
Worms Mob.
Worms, that seems like a really big departure from your brand, doesn't it?
It was.
I thought that was the band that did Stay, the Christmas #1 hit.
No, that's the cover band from Wigan, Team 17.
But I mean, I've got to say, I saw the demo for this thing, and yeah, it looked quite pretty. It looked like as realistic as PT and everything else, but I mean, well, what they showed of it was really just kind of like strange sounds and walk out in a flicker of a ghost in the corner, and it looked really kind of cheesy to me, to be honest. Like, it didn't seem like something that was going to grab me and something I was interested in. Why that's different from PT, I couldn't exactly put my finger on, because it employed all the same tropes, but something about the way PT did it really worked, really caught me. And watching this, yeah, it didn't quite have the same grasp, at least a grip on me. So I don't, but I wasn't really too fussed about it myself. But it's just more the fact of the story of yet another failed Kickstarter that pissed me off about the whole thing. Although you can argue again that if you're going to put up money up front for the promise of a game instead of an actual game, then on your own head be it. But yeah, so if it actually gets done, if they actually find a way to actually make it, considering the money that's come out of it is not just out of their own pocket, then from that side of it, I'd be quite happy to see it come out.
Do you think they fueled this off the back of Resident Evil 7 coming out and being of that style? They're thinking this is going to be, as I was assuming last time, this is going to be the honeymoon of those games. Let's get this done. Because we've got Outlast 2 coming around about the same time as Resident Evil 7, I believe. So if you don't know how much of a complete game they had last time around when it got ditched, so...
I mean, I don't know. I don't know much about the developer themselves. Yeah, it was Team 17, so I was just double-checking. I don't know much about...
Alien Wars, if I remember rightly, on the PC. That's the one I remember Team 17 for.
Oh, really? Is that the one you is that Sideways guy or the guy from Top Down?
Top Down.
That was Alien Breed.
Alien Breed, was it? They did a lot of Top Down games.
That's right, because they were back in Amiga generation and all that stuff, wasn't it?
Hell yeah. The golden age of gaming, as I like to call it.
That's just because you still haven't got
Sensi
it.
Soccer.
Sensi Soccer, yeah, we haven't gone over it. Yeah, Alien Breed, God, that brings back memories. Looks like a kind of weird, like stupid Game Boy Color version of Gauntlet or something. Weird, but yeah. Team 17, that's a weird departure for them. What was I played something recently they did. Was it them that did Overcooked as well?
Possibly. They have just brought out a new Worms game.
Ah, right, okay.
Because, we've not had enough of those.
I couldn't tell you one apart from the other, to be honest with you. Although it's a good laugh if you got a few folk around, it's just not often you do that. So
yeah, I mean the new one is supposed to be quite good, but it is like kind of going back to the original 2D. Like they've dropped the whole kind of 3D thing, and it's back to the original kind of 2D style.
I didn't know they went 3D.
Back to 3D ones were bloody terrible. And I'm sure it's a fun game, but it is just more Worms.
That's a game that should be a $5, and they should release one version and maybe do theme packs like Game of Thrones themes or something, that kind of thing.
They tried to be really diverse at one point and brought out a game called Sheep, which was basically just lemmings, except it was sheep. So when I say really diverse, I mean not really at all. I mean, to be fair, like they've survived nearly 20 years on 2 games, so I can't criticise them too much.
That's true, But, they've got the same kind of shelf life as Grand Theft Auto without the need for the budget.
But yeah, it was a weird one. Kind of reading up on this just now. It was there was a Kickstarter crowdfunding campaign for this game that was supposed to be. They're looking for 250k, and it had reached 145. And it's unlike no one really knows if they would have made the full money or not. But before it even got the chance to, before its week was finished, Team 17 swooped in, and the whole thing got pulled off of the crowdfunding. So I presume that means they didn't get any of the money. So I'll take that back. At least there is no one's money actually involved in this. I thought it went through the Kickstarter first, and then Team 17 came in and said we would publish it, but apparently not. It got pulled from the Kickstarter halfway through. So I suppose at least no members of the public are out of pocket if it doesn't finally appear. In which case I'm back to, I don't really give a fuck if it appears or not.
There you go, another pearl of wisdom from the mouth of Zane. Yeah, I think that I definitely want to see. I love the idea of these kind of scary games, but I'm a big shitbag. I really am. I kind of went out on a limb. Inside's got some kind of not scary but kind of creepy elements to it. And another game I was playing this week, Oxenfree. Have any played that?
No.
Never heard of it.
It's kind of like a 2.5D, is that the right term? Kind of almost 3D kind of platformer. And the whole thing is there's like you're a girl and you've got these 2 friends that you're going to an island with, kind of have a party with your friends, and there's like another 2 people there that you're kind of friends with as well. And it's one of these kind of make sure that you choose the right choice and be friends with the right people, and it's all decision driven. You do control your character, and then the kind of core mechanic is a little kind of like wireless radio you've got with you that lets you tune into things on the island, and then all manner of strange happenings occur. It's actually pretty well produced, decent voice acting, pretty good writing. I mean, in actual fact, in game terms, it's maybe like maybe a 3.5 out of 5, I think, in terms of it being an amazing game, but I actually really thoroughly enjoyed it. It's about 4 hours play.
So are we talking like kind of like my reference to this might be like kind of Secret of Monkey Island, that type of
that, but sped up for the kind of new console generation, I suppose. There's I'm trying to think. There's not really any kind of like games changer puzzles. Nothing that kind of sticks you.
the 2.5D thing that you're talking about.
Yeah. That's very much what it is. If you see that on like Zane's playing a little bit there, it's very kind of cell shaded, kind of quite kind of it looks handcrafted in its makeup, and I really enjoyed the game. The soundtrack to it was excellent. It's very current in terms of the kind of synthwave stuff we're getting with like Stranger Things and all that kind of stuff that I'm absolutely loving at the moment as well. So it's quite nice. It's got that kind of slight kind of Goonies Super 8 kind of feel about it in terms of the way it kind of approaches itself. It doesn't take itself too seriously. There's ample sarcasm in there. As I say, if it had been probably it could have probably done with maybe better comedy writing to kind of make the comedy not the kind of light notes not as jarring against the darker things. But all in all, it kind of sat quite well together. And I think it was like 12 quid or something. I'd recommend it if you've got a spare 12 quid and like I don't know 5 hours to kill.
So beautiful game, but the writers were shite, is what you're saying?
They weren't shite. No, they were actually. In terms of most modern games, or most kind of games, the writing was excellent. But in the sense that was the core mechanic of the game, it could have been better.
Yeah.
But if it had just been a platformer, that would have been fine. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I'd recommend you give it a spin. A good wee story, some nice wee twists in there. Some of it is a bit it was very tropey, I guess, in some places, but it was one of those things, kind of like Inside, it drives you forward by going, but what's happened next? Or are you sure what you think's happening is actually what's happening? So it's quite a nice development that way, and that's kind of my current favourite thing. So there's a cat. So yeah, I'm very much enjoying that kind of thing. I'm looking for my next game, which I believe is coming out on the 13th of September or 12th of September, The Witness, which is like a kind of puzzle-driven kind of mystery thing as well. So quite interested to play that.
It's been out on the PC for quite a while.
Yeah, that's very much my speed. Okay. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I've been playing. You guys been playing anything else yourselves?
Why, I've been playing Prison Architect, thanks for asking. Every waking hour that I'm not getting paid to work.
You need to put that on your laptop.
I need to uninstall it is what I need to do. Honestly, yesterday being a good example of just coming home, sticking it on, and then going to bed. That's all I did yesterday. So, So Prison Architect, it's awesome. We've talked about it before. It's brilliant. I've now got over 300 cells in my prison. Check me out.
Very cool.
You've not played it, Zane, have you?
Yeah, I played it on PC for a bit.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
I won't even load it. I genuinely won't.
Why not? Just out of interest.
Do you know what it is? I'm not massive on management games anyway, per se. I don't think I'd have been able to do the kind of inventory management in like The Witcher without like my missus giving me guidance, going, that's what this is for, when she was playing Skyrim. So I don't think it's my thing. I mean, I remember really enjoying like SimCity and Theme Park when I was a kid, but I always found when those games when those games grew up, though, I always felt like they got a little bit more convoluted. Like the kind of like you were talking earlier today about all the different stats you got to keep for all your people, all your kind of prisoners and things, and I was just like, that just sounds like too much to think about, and I'm like,
it's funny you should say that actually, because like I loved the simplicity of the original SimCity, and then when we got SimCity 2000, which was the sequel to that, that's exactly how I felt. As soon as I had to plan the water kind of running through the city for all the buildings, I went to fuck with this. But I mean, you have to do that in kind of Prison Architect along with electricity as well. So I've obviously matured and I've become a better manager.
So I will never be a good manager. I've always said that. So I think that's pretty clear. So we're not going to get you off that anytime soon?
Nope.
Are you going to reject us again this weekend when we go to play some Xbox and you actually go, do you know what, guys? I'm going to play this and have my dinner, and then we'll never see you again?
You're saying that like that happened before. No. I'll be good. I'll be free there this weekend.
Sweet, awesome. As I say, play with us just like 3 hours, then you can go back to that for the remainder of your weekend.
I was sweating when you said 3 hours. I was like, I'll give you maybe an hour and a half max, mate.
Just pop into chat, say hi.
Indeed. Zane, what have you been playing?
Well, I'm not sure playing is the right word, but I picked up Deus Ex. I picked up Mankind Divided. And
is it Zane divided, or is it good?
It's certainly got me divided. I think it's good. I've not played enough of it to say yet, but I seem to be having problems with it. For a start, I tried to stream it yesterday, and that just was a complete mess. Freaking stream crashed. XSplit decided to crash on me and all sorts, and then the sound just came and gone and disappeared. And it was quite good though. It had Not the Rad fan, who's in chat at the moment, translating all the signs for me, which was awesome.
That's really cool.
But yeah, I am struggling with this game, and that it tries to be very realistic, and it's basically kind of follows on for the first game, and actually gives you a 12-minute intro in case you haven't played the first game to catch up to speed with the story.
Oh, that's quite cool, because that's why I was kind of dubious about it, because I've never played one before.
I would still say if you're going to do it, go back and get the first one first anyway.
All right, okay.
And it is worth playing, but I think for some reason I'm getting really massive disconnects with this one, where basically as the storyline goes, your character is very heavily augmented. It's got robotic arms.
Like big boobs.
Big robotic arms and kind of metal man boobs and all sorts. But due to an incident that happens in the first game, there is a big kind of divide. No one trusts augmented people. And as you're going through the game, as you go through the subways, for example, there's like kind of two entrances, one for normals and one for augs. And the whole game is trying to kind of mirror the whole kind of issues with race relations that we have in the real world and things like that. But it doesn't really work when you're essentially a character that makes RoboCop look like a pussy. Like you get to these you get to these places and you come off the subway line and the guards come up to you and kind of stop to pat you down, check your credentials and everything else, and it's like it really matters not a jot when 2 minutes later I'm going to pull out a gun and they'll go, put that away. You go, no. Put that away or I'll arrest you. It's like, no. And there is no
your training half.
Yeah, and there is no mechanic in the game for you to get arrested, so it's just really kind of bizarre disconnects that I just don't expect from a game like that in this day and age. You got away with it previously, but I think now, I don't know, things are just becoming a lot more immersive as far as these kind of storylines go, that it just kind of bothers me. One thing that happened, maybe I'll kind of, in fact, I'll role play it. I walked into a kind of block of flats, and you go up onto one of the floors, and there is a guy dealing guns illegally out of his flat. So he's got a big bouncer on the door. There's 2 armed bouncers inside, and you walk into the flat, and he's basically standing, going, "You all right? You want to buy some guns?" It's like, "Nah, it's fine, mate. I'm just looking around." It's like, well, it's no shop, it's my house, but batter in. It's like,
Pick your boots.
cheers, man. Don't mind if I just kind of take a quick swatch at your bedroom. Okay, and you go into the bedroom. So we note here just by your table. It's got a code on it for your secure locker downstairs. You don't mind if I just stick it in my pocket, will you? And then you just kind of walk back outstairs past the 2 armed guards and go downstairs and open up the locker and just take a whole bunch of guns, take a whole bunch of his stock. You're like,
who wrote this shit?
it's like previously there's another room in the same flat that you can't go into. You can tell because when you look at your map, it's all outlined in red, so it's restricted. So if you go in there, then the 2 armed bodyguards are just going to turn around and shoot you. But you can quite happily wander into his bedroom and pick up a note that tells you what his code is to his lockers quite happily, and it's things like that. You've got you have the ability to fall from great heights without causing damage. But when you do it, your augment's all kind of go off and it gives off this kind of big yellow electricity field around you. So it's fucking obvious when you're doing it. And you're in a city where there has just been a terrorist incident within 24 hours. Everybody's on edge, and everybody really doesn't like augmented people anyway. They're all very wary of them. And because of this incident, they're even more so, so everybody's on kind of high alert. But you can quite happily jump out like the 3rd floor of a building and land in this big electrical flourish, and no one bats an eyelid. The cops just stand there looking at you. You're like, the game might be really good, but I am really struggling to actually get into the game because it's just, there's so much of it at the moment I'm just finding so kind of immersion breaking that previously wouldn't have bothered me. So
do you think that's because it's the same guys making the game from the old games and they're just working with the same model and same principles, or do you think it's just that we're getting much better writing and a lot more better consideration now that they're kind of lagging behind?
I think it is. I think it is just gonna. They've made a game that is a worthy successor to the last one, and I really liked the last one. But whatever's happened in the intervening years, I'm like, it just doesn't sit with me anymore.
Yeah.
I think the fact that
seconds.
the game tries to be quite dark and quite realistic in its tone kind of means that anything that can pull you out of that just really does pull you out of that. And then you get weird ones like the glitches. Like when I went into one room in a building and there's an alarm system goes off and it's just a kind of robotic voice saying, "Human identified, you're unauthorized to be here, please leave." Then after a couple of seconds it says, you haven't left, we have called the authorities, please wait in the corner. And then 2 police guys just come up. But I just walked outside the front door and stood there beside the open front door, and the 2 of them just come up and they look at you, but because you're not in the restricted area anymore, they just presume it's not you, and they walk in and they search the flat and then walk back out. And then they walk back down the stairs. So I ran back inside. She starts going off again. They come back up the stairs, and this time they just kind of glitched. They just kind of stood staring into the open door and stood there for the remainder of the time. And it's like, well, I can't even get in the flat now because the pair are just standing watching it the whole time. You know, like anything I wanted out of there, I am not going to get because, yeah, you're like, it might be a really good game. It's only just come out, and I've only maybe like 2 hours into it. But so far, I'm just like, this really isn't doing it for me.
So what was the actual name of the game again?
Deus Ex. Mankind Divided.
Ah, sorry, Deus Ex, okay.
Deus Ex, yeah.
Juice. Okay, leave that where it is.
So, yeah, next week I'll probably have played most of it. I can give an actual definitive review of what the game itself is like and if it's actually any good. Yeah. But right now, I'm just like, I'm really struggling to do anything to make me feel this game because, well, like I say, it's kind of really hard to feel oppressed by the law when you can instantly pull out 2 big blades from inside your arms at any point. Yeah.
It'd have been better if they built in a mechanism like these areas have got like a special force field or a frequency running that disables your mods or something like that. That would have made it a little bit more tangible or feasible.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like,
there you go. I just had that. You can use that for the next game, like a boss.
So yeah, I'll be interested to see.
It kind of reminded me of a game. Just going back to the Amiga stuff again. Syndicate.
Yeah.
Anybody ever played Syndicate?
That was a top-downy thing, or was it a kind of isometric thing?
No, that was top-downy. It was just, I suppose, it's the kind of atmosphere of it and the kind of Blade Runner-esque elements. I suppose
it's got that all kind of cyberpunk. I mean, the original Deus Ex probably came out around about the same time as Syndicate. And
is that back compat? Do you know?
Syndicate?
No, Deus Ex, the original one.
Oh, the original. No, you'd need to get that on
Steam
at the moment.
I might give it a look, but give me a shout or tweet us when you're doing the live stream because I'd really like to kind of see a bit of this game because I was thinking about buying it. So
yeah, I mean, I might do a bit of a let's play just so I can point out these bizarre things that just don't click at all. Just the silliness of the whole thing, but or I might actually get into it and really love it and play the whole thing through.
At least you do that.
It's only a couple hours. Sorry, it's only a couple hours.
You go first.
So too soon to tell.
Cool. I was going to say what we should actually do would be awesome is start a new kind of element on your channel called Zane Slays, and you just play a game for half an hour and just rip the piss out of it.
The hell out of it. Yeah.
We're going to be doing a Let's Slay and just rip the absolute shit out of the game.
Yeah.
That's a good fallback if you've spent £50 in a game and it sucks. You can just go, well, I'm going to get something out of this.
Yep. And then spend the rest of my time fighting whatever the copyright issues when they strike the video down, and I need to fight to get it back up again.
Just so you can say it's shit.
Just so I can say it's shit.
You're a creature. You are a creature of your convictions, so I think that would be worth doing. And I'd love to watch it. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. At the moment, any Let's Plays I've done so far, it's been pretty obvious that I say just as much bad things about these games as I do good.
That's true. You're well balanced. You hate everybody equally.
Absolutely.
Do you having a wee bit of a nostalgia trip on the Amiga there?
I was just trying to see if there'd been anything. Because I know that there was another Syndicate game that they brought out. It was maybe 10 years ago or something now. But I was just wanting to see if there was anything maybe in the pipeline or anything getting redone or anything. Because that was kind of one of my all-time favourite games on the Amiga.
I think just the fact that we brought up Amiga was funny because I guarantee you anybody, I don't know if like not the Rad fan and the guys in the chat room actually even remember the Amiga. I don't know what age these guys are. They'd have to be our age to remember it because the Amiga 500 was 1991. It came out. And
that
the
was
funny thing
500 plus and 1200.
What, in 1991?
Maybe.
But what I was finding quite funny is the fact that we talk now about, I've only had this console for 5 years, why am I getting a new one now? And the Amiga released like 4 or 5 different versions over like 3 years. So you're actually doing not bad these days. But yeah, I had the Amiga 600 and you keep swearing at it, but the 600 was the balls. But yeah, 1991 computers, amazing. Good times.
Fuck your 600.
So you know what was your first computer?
Commodore 64.
Nice. My first ever computer was a Spectrum.
Jet Set Willy, I think was probably the first game I played.
Classic. The funny thing is that,
which was broke. You could never. It was impossible to complete.
I didn't remember that.
Which just which just probably just set me up for my gaming career ever since. I just presume every game's impossible to complete, so I don't bother doing it.
I got that way at the end of the Witcher with that last bad. I was like, I'm never completing this game.
It's not that I'm bad. It's not that I can't get all the way through them. It's just that they're impossible to complete. That's that's the way I see it.
I wasn't sure if you were making a statement towards your capability or the fact that people keep releasing broken fucking games these days.
Well, yeah, bit of both.
It's a combination of things. Other stuff, what have we got? Pokemon. Here's one thing I wanted to bring up actually. Pokemon Go, they reported a user drop of 15 million users per month of a drop off. Now, I'm sure it's only been out for like 2 months or something, 3.
Yeah, something like that.
So it's early days to be kind of making these kind of counts, but they seem to be. We were talking about this earlier. They seem to be making this kind of big thing about drop off.
Yeah.
Like Suicide Squad, like dropped off whatever 80% of its viewers in the first week, and you're going that number means absolutely nothing. You know, it's like nobody's buying it this week. You're going, they all bought it, they experienced it, and they're done with it. So I mean, maybe not Pokemon Go by all means, but a lot of media is just kind of consume and forget.
Yeah.
So worrying about why no one's picking up the next week because everybody saw it the week before.
Well, that's the thing. The one that was doing it for me was when they started talking. I don't know if it was today or yesterday. A few articles appeared about how No Man's Sky in the UK's sales figures have dropped off by 81% in the UK. And you're like, well, okay, but Uncharted 4 dropped off by 79%. In its second week in the UK. Are you telling me that's now automatically a failure? You tell me that game is now automatically shite as well? Like, it bears absolutely no relevance to anything. And the only reason you're bringing it up is just to kind of further grind in the foot because there's a nice big hate campaign going on for the game at the moment. So fucking don't jump in the bandwagon, go and do some actual fucking journalism, you fuck. Lazy.
So Syndicate update. So there was, and I now remember this.
Syndicate.
Syndicate which came out, which was released on, I think was it the original PlayStation? So it did come out on console, and then apparently in 2012, Syndicate was brought out for, I think it was PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. But they changed it from the top-down kind of isometric view to first-person shooter. Way to ruin a fucking game.
Right.
Yeah, they're good at that.
Indeed.
The closest you might get to it at the moment, well, it won't be
XCOM.
XCOM's kind of fairly similar, yeah. I think CD Projekt Red's next game
Cyberpunk
might kind of solve that itch somewhat. Have you
seen what kind of game that's going to be? Is that going to be?
Is that
not going to be like The Witcher?
Yeah. I think people are presuming just because The Witcher was so successful that it's going to be kind of similar type of game, but nothing's been seen of it at all. So who knows?
Oh God, I don't even care if it's a game type I hate. I'll give them all my money because I love those guys. Those guys know what value for money is for. They know how to make a game. They know how to put love into something. Magic. So back on the original point about the kind of the numbers thing, because you said 81% of sales dropped for the second week. The article I read, I can't remember. I'll try and find it, but it's an article someone had posted in Reddit, and it was from I think it was from was Tech Insider, maybe. Don't quote me on that. And the article was kind of the headline was as if to say 89% of players have exited the game, as in everybody bought it, no one's on the servers anymore, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I sitting there going, that seems a little bit bloody harsh. But the thing is, this is just the media doing their, even your big press kind of guys who you would hope that there's some journalistic integrity there. They're obviously not, but you'd hope there was, would kind of turn around and say, do you know what? Maybe we shouldn't be doing this clickbait bullshit, but it's working for everybody else, so we're going to do it. That's what happens.
That's it entirely.
It's nonsense. Sad times. But yeah, that's about all the news I've got for gaming. Do you want to get anything else before we move forward?
No, I was just going to say, I suppose it's a bit similar to the whole idea with talking about EA and maybe thinking about now doing HD remasters because people are buying them. It's like, don't buy them, they won't make them. Don't click on the stupid fucking titles and they'll stop writing stupid fucking articles with stupid fucking titles. Power's in their hands, we just don't use it.
Well, that was one I was laughing at the other day was, who the hell was it? I think it might have been Rooster Teeth or somebody on YouTube, and they posted a video with a clickbait title on it. You're going, and all their titles are clickbait. It's always an open-ended question or whatever. And I clicked on it, and they actually clickbaited to the point that I think they started the video with somebody else's introduction, some YouTuber's introduction, that wasn't them. And I went, this is and they went, oh no, and they basically did a 5-minute bit about how people clickbait, and you're going, yeah, we know. We just can't get away from it. Yeah. There's not a great deal you can do, especially when you're doing some weird meta clickbait reference.
Yeah.
You're gonna get stuck in some kind of feedback loop of fucking clickbait, you know?
So let me guess. I don't know what the title of the video was, but did it happen to have one word all in capitals and a question mark at the end?
I think it might have done.
Yeah, it will do. It's Rooster Teeth. Every single one of them's got at least only one capitalised letter in the middle of the sentence and question marks as if it's some sort of question that probably doesn't get answered anyway. Yeah,
because they're sitting there and give it away. Do you know what? I've actually got a new pet hate. I quite like Rooster Teeth for just random picking up, because I'll go through Rooster Teeth or GameSpot, or just go across an IGN. I'll go through across the gamut to kind of get a kind of read between the lines of what people are actually going on about. And the one that bothers me most is one dude on Rooster Teeth. I don't know his bloody name, but he's got scraggly long hair, and he always stands with his hands on his shoulders, and he does this. And he kind of, he twitches, and he does this a lot. And he looks like he's coming down off crack or something, and I can't cope with him. I just want, do you know who I mean?
Vaguely. I can't think of the name, but yeah. I mean, I should also say
he's a reasonable presenter, but he's doing this, and he's always twitching. You go, dude, fucking hell. Do you know him at a radiator?
I mean, I should also say, I watch The Know every single day and absolutely love it. It's not them I've got a problem with, just their goddamn titles.
Oh no, completely. I actually like all of them quite the thing. I quite like I've got lots of different kind of people I like to listen to. But it's just as I say, it's just that kind of one dude twitching about. You're going, dude, he actually looks like he's rattling. There's no harm with the guy. I'm sure he's lovely, but it's just you're sitting there going, Jesus, dude. When he's on, I'm like, no, I'm not watching this. Turn it off. Which is quite harsh, isn't it? Sorry about that.
Glasses?
Tough shit. No.
Okay. Not Gus.
Quite young guy. I'll figure him out. And I'll point him out, and we'll make a T-shirt saying this guy's on crack, and we'll sell that on my shop. Speaking of shop, I've got a couple of new T-shirts up this week, and 15% off. Just plugging that in there. 15% off for the week. You can also get a really fine T-shirt that was actually done by one of my very fair friends, who's actually in one of these boxes here. And it's in the 15% off sale, so you can jump over to
What? I never authorised this shit.
Yeah, you did authorise it, mofo. My trade agreement. Yeah, but you can go in there 15% off if you go to ratworks.net and hit the store. You can see anything you want there, 15% off with the promo code SUPERSHIRT. Yeah, so I just thought I'd plug that in. I don't usually plug, but why not? Just for the hell of it, I like colouring in. I like putting on T-shirts. Enjoy yourself. Yeah, so that's me for gaming then. Nothing much else.
I'm not sure.
Just the one thing, just that kind of caught my eye, and it would also serve as a purpose to say that I'm not completely Xbox kind of loopy. It was a game that kind of caught my eye. It was this game for PlayStation called Grip. Just looked like a fun, exciting kind of futuristic racer come shoot 'em up as well. Just looks kind of cool, but just a shame I'll never get to play it.
Is it not coming to PC as well?
No, I just said it looked for PC, but I mean I don't play games on
No, fair
PC
enough.
either, so
Yeah, it does look quite good fun.
That.
Yeah, I think I was looking today. Games with gold for this month with Xbox. One of them is Forza Horizon. You get that for nothing, which is cool.
Don't care.
No, I like Forza Horizon. It's really good fun.
No.
So you like futuristic driving games, but not modern driving games.
Correct.
You like your driving games like you like your women.
It's because I can
modern and military.
I suppose it's because I get to drive cars, so not ones with machine guns that go upside down.
You could join the army. Actually, I'm going to go
Did
to
you
that
see my
website right now and sign you
profile?
up. Going to sign you up for it right now, but I got at your door in an hour and a half.
If this was kind of America, that kind of stuff would probably work. Actually, it'd be legally binding.
Oh no! You now belong to the military. It's fine. So moving forward, movie time. Funny movie news. I was done with that. We're going to do a jingle. I think we need to put a jingle in just for the sake of it. Actually, you could just do that every week. That'd be fine. Saves a lot of farting about. Yeah. So movies. I watched a couple of films. I would like to start on what we've watched recently. If anybody's watched anything, just because I want to get a couple of films off. So I watched. What did I watch now? I shouldn't have started this week. I watched Central Intelligence with The Rock and Kevin Hart. Is it? Has anybody seen this?
Sounds riveting.
Do you know what? I like The Rock. The Rock has got good comedy chops, but he couldn't hold that film together. It was just every trope you could get out of the odd couple kind of against the bad guys film. It was weak as water. I wouldn't really recommend it to anybody. Big pile of mince. Not fussed about it at all. Any of you guys watched anything?
Not a bloody thing.
Really?
Not a thing.
Well, I watched the Jungle Book. Jungle Book was really good.
There you go, visual representation.
Thank you, Mr. Clipart. The Clipart place is going to be at your door in the morning now. I don't know. There's Batfleck back. Jungle Book was really good.
I went to cinema once 2 weeks ago. That'll keep me going for a while.
Yeah.
I'm watching. What am I watching? Archer and Brooklyn 999. I'm watching those two kind of through again. And watching my prison population swell.
You should clarify that again. That's actually because of. Oh, I also watched The Nice Guys. Russell Crowe and what do you call him? Ryan Gosling. It's a Shane Black film. Did any of you guys watch Kiss Kiss Bang Bang?
No.
Val Kilmer and Robert Downey Jr. It's a really good film, but it's similar. It's really similar actually. Although my brother said it was exactly the same film, I disagree with that. I think Russell Crowe. I actually really like Russell Crowe, and I see him in most films to be honest. But he's excellent in this, and Ryan Gosling's brilliant in it as well. Just a solid little kind of. It's like the smart version of a cop buddy movie kind of thing, or a detective movie. It's very much a kind of noir shtick, I guess. But yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Did you say you'd seen it, Dee?
Yeah, I'd seen it, and I remember. I'm trying to think back to it now. I certainly enjoyed it. I kind of loved both the kind of main characters. I think Gosling and what's his face, Russell Crowe were very good in it. So I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Awesome. And Zane, you seen anything? No.
Not a bloody thing. Like I said, went to cinema 2 weeks ago. That'll do me. Keep me going for ages.
Sweet. Right, so let's get on quickly to the horrendousness that is TV series that are popping up all over the place. Now, did anybody remember watching Get Shorty? The movie with, I believe, John Travolta, I think? Rene Russo, I want to say. Vaguely.
I get that mixed up with Get. Is it Get? It's not Get Smart. What was the one with
Steve Carell?
No, that's another one as well.
Yeah, Steve Carell was Get Smart.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
The one with the Rock in it, Matthew Vaughn, Uma Thurman.
What?
What was that film?
Matthew's one.
John Travolta plays is it a Shylock?
Is it not? Are you not thinking of the?
Entertainer.
Are you thinking of the sequel to Get Shorty then?
Yeah, I think that's what it is, isn't it? Is that a sequel to Get Shorty?
I think it is. Yeah.
It's not Get Shorty again. What the fuck? What's it called?
Get Shorter.
Well, they've already got Danny DeVito, so I mean, what did they call it again? Oh, Be Cool, was it?
That's the one.
You know, I didn't even find that on the internet there. I just came out of my brain tank. That's pretty awesome. My brain
I was sitting here thinking, oh, nice playmate. Just got it in the net. Oh no, was it?
No, that's genuinely. I'm actually impressed here because I'm pretty sure my brain doesn't work anymore. So that's good news.
It was Be Cool, yeah.
Aye, so that's the sequel. So Get Shorty.
Be Cool was good.
I don't even remember watching Be Cool. Do you know that? But it was Get Shorty's getting a TV series. So I don't know. I mean, most times if they make a TV series because they're cashing in, and we're going to get to that quickly. But it's the fact that they're going to cash in on TV series. Why would you cash in on a movie nobody really remembers?
Is it the case of you don't remember it or nobody remembers it?
No.
Or is it a case of it's a cheap license because no one remembers it?
It might be. It's got Ray Romano from Everybody Loves Raymond and Chris O'Dowd from the IT Crowd attached to it, which is an odd combination as well.
Yeah.
It might be good. I don't know. It's just an odd combination as well.
Quite happy to watch anything with Dowd in it, mind you. So.
Yeah. Here's one that you're going to hate, Zane. Lost Boys TV series. I don't know why, just because you used to be a goth, I figure you like the Lost Boys.
Yeah. You're eating
Did you like Lost Boys? Am I tripping?
No, it was alright. I mean, it's cheesy. It was a bad fool. It's a bad movie, but it's a fun bad movie.
Yeah, give you that. But yeah, it's a very strange one. I don't actually know any details on who's going to be in it or what else, but yeah, as long as Alex Winter that played Bill from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures in it.
Yes.
Because that was the first time I saw him. He's still a weird looking wee guy. I like him, but he's weird looking. I'm weird looking.
Bizarrely, it doesn't look much different now.
Does he not?
It looks pretty much the same, but wrinklier.
Oh, somebody doing all the Comic Cons and shit or something?
I don't remember the last time I saw him, actually.
Saw him down Greg's buying a pasty.
Indeed.
Other things like in TV series, which is weird. The Departed.
Yeah, that just sounds like something that's certainly kind of just trading off the name of the movie.
Yes, because realistically, it's just any twisty, turny cop drama.
Exactamundo, because you're not going to have any of that cash returning, that's for damn sure. So don't see what well, I do see the point. Like I say, it's just kind of trading off the name.
Yeah, the funny thing about that is that Departed itself is a rewrite of Infernal Affairs, which was, I believe, was it Korean, a trilogy, and it was basically those three films kind of glued together, and rewritten for the kind of Western audience kind of thing. So interesting that it's kind of been dilated further. So yeah, I don't really know why they're kind of doing this kind of let's do all the TV shows at the moment. But strange. Oh, I also Snatch TV series. What do you think of that one? It's basically just EastEnders, isn't it?
Well, kind of, yeah. I mean, if I'd seen the Lock, Stock series, I might be able to kind of cast a better description on it. Do any of you guys see that?
No. What the hell was that?
It was a Lock, Stock TV series that came out.
Really?
I don't remember that at all.
And I'm sure, was it not the case that they changed the title of it, like as in "And Two Smoking Barrels"? That part of it changed per episode, if I remember rightly. So it was always about. So the film Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels was about the kind of the vintage guns.
Yeah.
So it was whatever the kind of they were kind of featuring on was the kind of subtitle of the each episode. So I don't know if that was any good. If that was any good, which I suppose potentially it could have been, then the Snatch one would be the same. But again, what exactly are you going to make the TV series about that's actually related to Snatch, I suppose, would be the question.
Yeah, because I mean, what was it that made Snatch? Was it because of the
specific events? It's the tying in of events.
Yeah,
as Lock, Stock was as well, to be fair.
Maybe if they did it as like a mini series, like 6 episodes, you could do something. But I think doing like an ongoing serial kind of thing is not going to work. It's funny though. I'm looking up
But you don't need to do that anymore. Like the things like True Detective and Fargo have shown that you don't even need to have the same cast within a new series. You can do one series which tells one story, and then keep the frame and do an entirely different story with an entirely different cast of people, or the same cast even playing different characters for that matter, and people will go with it. It's so it doesn't need to be a kind of continuation of a thing over like 4 series or 5 series with a one story. So it could work that way.
Well, that's what I'm hoping. I mean, I think that hopefully people do learn and don't try and recreate things all the time. That would make a nice difference. And if they actually do go in with that kind of intelligence, say, let's do short stories based in the East End of London, for example, with crime oriented or something like that, that could work quite nicely. Although I'm just looking at the Lock, Stock TV series, I don't remember much about this. I don't even remember this happening. But I was looking through the what do you call it, the characters, the cast, sorry, and I couldn't see anybody I recognised. And then I went all the way down. Martin Freeman was in the series.
Right.
And the only other person who was in it was Nikolai Coster-Waldau, who is Jaime Lannister. So that's kind of weird.
So Ron Weasley's in it.
Yeah, Ron Weasley is in the Snatch TV series, that's right.
And more interestingly, Dougray Scott.
Dougray Scott. He's always been a kind of, you could replace him with MD actor, hasn't he?
Yeah, but I kind of like him.
No, I quite like him as well. He's always fine when he's in something. He's always like just there and he does his job well. But you just kind of just get another random Scottish guy that seems a bit peed off and just put him in.
The thing that worked, I mean, one of the reasons why Snatch, well, one of quite a lot of reasons to be fair that Snatch was excellent, but was the fact that you absolutely kind of loved most of the characters in it. You kind of totally kind of attach yourself to them immediately.
That's good writing, though, isn't it?
It's very good writing. So that's the problem that the TV series has got to try and replicate, because that, in essence, is what Snatch and even Lock, Stock was all about.
Yeah. Moving quickly on from the TV, is there any more TV stuff? I think we're okay for TV. Something I wanted to kind of see what you guys thought as well. We're also getting all these kind of reboots or sequels. What do you prefer?
I can give you a reverse of what we were just talking about.
What's that?
Which is TV series to movie.
Have we seen that happen? I'm trying to think.
That's my kickoff question.
I watched Spooks: The Greater Good, which is technically a TV show into a movie. If you can call it a movie, it was really just like 2 episodes back to back. I actually quite liked it. It was all right. It was exactly what you want from Spooks. It's not like oh my god, it's amazing, and it had Jon Snow in it for no good reason. But it was a decent little bit of espionage thriller nonsense.
I suppose you could say X-Files, kind of in between us.
Kind of tried, didn't it?
There's been a couple, I suppose, that have kind of done.
Any that have been like hugely successful, actually.
First Between Us movie was bloody successful.
You see how you've got a note in the show notes about Mission Impossible 6 being delayed?
There's a fair point, yeah. A very good point.
Well, this like you go on Man from U.N.C.L.E. There you go.
I mean, there was a run of them. They made a Saint movie with Val Kilmer, which completely and utterly tanked.
I actually liked that because it was so crap.
Batman. I suppose that's my comic book is the origin, I suppose.
Yeah, kind of.
Anyway, where I'm going with this,
around there.
Where I'm going with this is, do you know the TV show Cops?
What, as in the American show?
Yes.
Where they're on about just tasing everybody and icing them?
Yes.
Icing them, listen to me. Icing folk. You get iced.
That shit be whack. Yeah, Cops is getting made into a movie.
That's just any cop film.
Like, bad boys. Like, so really? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Actually, the funny thing is, I was actually listening to that song the other night because the last was getting our stuff packed for our holiday, and we put on some random music mix, and there was like a barbecue mix with some good reggae, and let's put some reggae on, why not? And that song came on. Have you listened to the fucking terrible lyrics of that song? That whole song is terrible.
Oh yes.
The guys always sing it in the film, and you go, they never remember the rest of it. You go, there's a reason for that. It's awful. Bloody nightmare.
Did you know that Cops is? I think it might be in fact, it is. It's the longest running TV show, certainly in America, maybe the world.
Was that not Law and Order or something?
It's longer than Law and Order.
Really?
It's longer than The Simpsons.
Holy shinto.
Doctor Who.
That's pretty crazy.
30 years it's been going now. Still ongoing. And yeah, it beats the kind of run of Simpsons, although by a matter of months it was the same year that it came out. But
That's crazy.
so I know I'm hankering for a movie about that. Tasering shite.
That's funny, isn't it?
How long did Doctor Who run before its first break?
Oof. That's a very good question.
It's got to be close.
That's research, man.
That's
Research
a Google
it.
one.
That's a Google. I'm not going to Google that though. I'm going to get on with it because we're running on.
Yeah.
Oh
2
no,
minutes.
we've got 9 minutes.
9? No.
I've got 9.
9.
9. Yeah. So other bits of news we've got to find about is that you guys like Guardians of the Galaxy, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and everybody liked Civil War.
Meh.
Do you not like Civil War?
Nah.
It was alright.
Yeah.
What? Say what? No, I love Civil War.
Actually, it took me 2 attempts to watch Guardians of the Galaxy. I switched it off halfway through the first time.
Did you?
I got bored.
Oh, that's amazing. No, I really enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy. Actually, I thought it was great fun.
Yeah.
Both those ones back to back, but apparently Vin Diesel, the man in the know, obviously plays a tree. He's kind of leaked this week that Guardians will be in Infinity Wars. So when you actually get to see the Avengers going into space, what's going to happen there theoretically? So that's going to be really interesting. Can you imagine how expensive a film's going to be with all those actors in it? You take Downey Jr., you take Chris Pratt, you take even like Batista's probably making good money by now. I mean, that's going to be an expensive ass film, and it's going to need some really good writing to make that
To
work.
take them into space as well. That's going to cost a lot.
Oh, do you know what I mean? That ain't cheap. It costs NASA a fortune just to get to the ISS. So I mean, what's it going to be like getting Chris Pratt onto, I don't know, Groot?
Hang on, are they kind of following Call of Duty's kind of path?
Wait a minute.
Let's go to space.
Exactly. I just need to plant Kevin McKidd in there, and you're fine.
I mean, the next kind of Thor movie kind of is almost kind of setting that up because they're basically
Ragnarok. Isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, from what you can see for this, mainly seems to be they're doing the whole kind of Planet Hulk storyline.
I saw that.
Which
Like Hulk armor and stuff.
aye, so it's like the whole idea of that was they're not kind of doing it from the scratch, but the whole idea was that was the Avengers decided that Banner was a bit too dangerous, or more accurately, Hulk was a bit too dangerous, so they kind of tricked him into getting into a shuttle and shot him off into space. And it was supposed to go to a planet with absolutely no life forms on it whatsoever, so that he couldn't harm either himself or anyone else for that matter. But things go wrong and he ends up on a different planet and yada yada. But they seem to be doing the whole kind of Planet Hulk story within Ragnarok because they don't actually own the rights to
Banner.
Hulk in order to like Hulk outright in order to do a Hulk movie on its own. So it's just kind of being wedged in here, and it's like it's a Thor movie, but you know it's kind of not.
Yeah, was it Mark Ruffalo said it was a road movie?
Yeah, a Thor and Hulk road movie. That sounds awesome.
It actually does.
But that whole
one
thing,
Hulk
there was a
movie
whole
in space.
yeah, there was a whole run of that after that in the comics with the Hulk running about with Guardians of the Galaxy. So they do seem to be kind of following, not that arc, but kind of similar to it.
Using its kind of guidance.
So bringing the whole thing together and tying the whole thing together, where you end up with them Guardians of the Galaxy in an Avengers movie, kind of does make sense. Just from the kind of arc that they're following, even at the moment, you can see it going that way.
Yeah.
Avengers in space.
Well, frankly, whatever they do is going to be awesome. 'Cause I just think they've got a really good kind of spin on what is a good, fun action film. And that's something I don't care if things get all kind of histrionic. I really think what I'm finding is that I will let a film away with murder if it's entertaining. See, if a film's too gloomy and hit up itself, I get critical at that point, and that's where we always go back to BVS. I'm not going to go back down that road, but that's very much what happens. If you don't entertain me and don't blindside me with stupid entertainment, I'm going to pick your film apart, basically is what happens. And I don't need entertainment to be making me piss myself every 5 minutes. What I needed to do is hold my attention.
Yeah.
You know? Anything else on Guardians to Infinity Wars? Anybody care about it? Anybody excited about it?
Yeah, too soon to be excited, I think. But yeah,
The idea of it just makes me very happy.
I'll certainly be interested when it gets closer at the time.
Cool. Yeah, you flagged earlier on MI6 is delayed. I'm not actually sure what the delay was for, and I didn't know they were working on a new Mission Impossible 6. What's your thoughts on the Mission Impossible series thus far?
It's been I really like the films. I've kind of enjoyed pretty much all of them. I've liked how they've evolved the way that they have. You could argue they are samey and not samey at the same time because of that kind of, I suppose, evolution. You've got somebody who's becoming slightly the Hollywood kind of golden boy, add the humour to films, Mr. kind of Simon Pegg that's in the franchise as well now. So there's always something pretty damn interesting that's in the films. It doesn't seem too repetitive, other than the who the fuck's going rogue this time type of kind of storylines.
I decided to go and research that and get hit with one of these websites that decides to play music at the start, so apologies. Continue.
I love it.
Quite right. So yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoy it, and I'd be interested in going to see the next one regardless. So
cool. Zane, any thoughts? Any cares?
Pretty much the same, actually. It's they're not films that ever kind of hit my radar, but when they appear, I enjoy them, and I do think like the likes of Peg really kind of helped maintain the series and give it a kind of slightly different edge from what it originally was.
The 90s guy.
But it is quite fun. It is quite funny.
Like the one
it is
film's
almost
bit more interesting.
Yeah, but it's quite fun. It is almost the same story each time. You can only tell it's a different movie by the length of Tom Cruise's hair. It's
well, it turns out it's going to be the length of his the string on his wallet, because the reason it's on delay apparently is because he's got disagreements with Paramount over his salary, which is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll work it out.
I'm sure they will do. It's not going to replace him all of a sudden.
Exactly. It's they're still making them cash each time. They're still making them cash each time they make the movie. So I'm sure they'll come to some sort of agreement.
Aye, definitely. We also have The Rock. As speaking about him earlier on, he's signed on for the Jumanji film, but he's actually come online this week to say that it's a sequel, a genuine, straight up sequel to the first one, not a reboot or anything else, which is kind of nice.
Okay.
If you like Jumanji, that is, I guess. Are they going to CGI Robin Williams in? Because that would just be weird.
Well, indeed. I mean, yeah.
If you had to pick a film that you like, and they said to you that we're going to follow it on, would you rather they said it's going to be a reboot or it's going to be a sequel?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's certain ones for certain movies. To be honest,
yeah, that's fair.
I do find it a shame when they decide to scrap a whole universe and history just to start again on certain occasions. But there's other movies. Most of the times, I would rather you just kind of go for a sequel.
Yeah,
and and build on what you've already done, as long as it's not stale. There's other times. Well, I mean, we talked about The Crow last week because of Momoa, or they keep continually talking about a Highlander movie, and it's like for both of them, it's the same thing. You're going to do it again, just reboot it.
Aye.
Because they're kind of one and done stories.
Yes, it's very, very true.
Both cases, it's kind of the same idea where, the tragedy happened in The Crow anyway. The tragedy happens. He comes back. He gets his revenge. He goes back into the afterlife to goes to his rest with his missus. You're like, it's done. That's
There's
it.
no need for him to get back out of bed after that.
No, that's it. It's like you're retired, dude. Just sit there. Just go to sleep by the fire. It'll be fine. Aye, and it's like Highlander was just great for me, where you've got like the tagline for your movie is there can be only one, but somehow we end up with Highlander 2 and a Highlander 3. How the fuck does that work? So if you're going to do them again, if you're going to do them again, they kind of need to be reboots. You just kind of need to tell the whole story again and find a new way of telling the story. But other than that, I generally prefer for it to be just continuing that universe. Why? Yeah. Why scrap what you've already got if what you've got is good? and you can build on that foundation and make that world even richer.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. I think that taking something that it might not be like the classic story, but still a good, entertaining story, and rework it. If you can do that, I think you definitely should. I agree with that completely. I'm probably the only person in the world though that actually quite liked the Total Recall reboot.
Nope, add me.
Or did you like it as well?
No,
I really liked it.
I may have to actually watch it in that case.
I actually just found it really entertaining. Everybody's got this kind of like rose-tinted glasses situation about Total Recall. The first one's shit. It's not a great film. So, and the Colin Farrell one, okay, is working on the same kind of premise, but it's just an entertaining sci-fi action film. It's not anything more than that. And neither was the first one. The first one was fucking nonsense. Michael Ironside chasing about a paper mache head of Arnie.
Yeah, I mean, it really is.
2 weeks.
It falls into that category. I don't know how many times I say it. You go, how's that movie? Go, oh, it's terrible. It's great. You need to see it. It's a really good, really bad movie.
Exactly. I was talking to Not the Bad fan in the chat room about he was just mentioning about Ark Survival Evolved, and I was just mentioning Stranded Deep. It's a kind of beach survival thing. Really good fun. That's just taking a big update as well. If anybody's into survival games of that ilk on the PC, get that one. I hope that comes to game preview actually, so I can get that on my Xbox. But yeah, that's about all my news. That's just an aside there at the end. That's everything we've got for this week, I think, guys. So I think we're ready to wrap up.
I think we are good. You're going to ask me to hit buttons, and I'm going to panic.
Go and hit the buttons, man. Make the buttons. Oh, look at the silky smooth. Oh, it's very smooth. I like that. So yeah, you can. Thanks for joining us, guys, in the chat room. Thanks for joining us on the YouTube, and also if you're listening to us on the podcast, also thank you very much for subscribing. You can get in touch with myself at www.ratworks.net. You can tweet me at ratworksvisuals, and you can also get the intro music from www.stereovandals.co.uk, and get in touch with myself and the D on at Stereovandals. So check out some of our music while you're farting about. Check out some of my t-shirts, which are on 15% sale at ratworks.net, and you can also get a hold of that there.
Mine apparently.
Yeah,
that would be, speaking of t-shirts.
There's the t-shirts. There they are.
Oh, that's nice.
There's a fella. And you keep scrolling down. There's a wee t-shirt that the D made. Where is he? It doesn't seem to be there. Oh, there he is. Black one. Little. Far left.
This number?
Yep.
Nice.
So we've got a selection of random low poly and kind of basic graphic shirts for very nice fair prices as well. So check some of those guys out, and they're pretty hard wearing as well. I've got like 2 of them and they're a nightmare. You just have to watch them. You watch them twice and you're kind of going, this thing's not falling apart yet. What kind of voodoo is this? But it's all good quality gear. Check it out if you're feeling like you need a new t-shirt or you want to buy somebody a gift. There's no big vulgar branding on. I think there's like one logo on one of them, but there's no big massive vulgar branding anywhere. So it's all quite kind of abstract, which is kind of cool. So check them out.
Indeed. If you're looking for me, you can find me right here. It feels bizarre. Feels bizarre saying that every week. But if you're listening orally, if you're listening to the audio, if you're getting this without visuals, if you're not seeing anyway, youtube.com/SaneGamingTV. That's where you find me. XAINE, as someone pointed out last week. Their audio, you might need to spell it out.
We need to start like a little cheerleader chant at the end of the show.
Just because.
XAINE. We need to make up.
Oh, Cowboys!
But we'll sure provide a link in the podcast underneath if you do want to check it out. If you do want to get in touch and tell me how my videos are shite, twitter.com/Zane Gaming, or quite simply at Zane Gaming. And yeah, tell me how much they suck. And that's pretty much it for me.
That's us for this week, guys. Well, in the meantime, during the course of the week, if you want to get a hold of us, you can get us on at 10@best on Twitter. You can find this episode and all the other episodes in audio format at www.tenuously.best.com, and you can find us on Facebook /T.A.B podcast. So thanks very much for joining us. We'll see you next week, probably the same time. So cheers.
Take care, folks.